Have you ever wondered if a single number to give you a quick snapshot of the pressure building up in the financial markets? Well, today we're going to break down a tool that tries to do exactly that. It's called the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, or MMRI. Let's dig in and see how it works. Okay, let's just start with a number, 265.37. Right now, as of today, that one number is flashing a very specific signal about the state of the markets. So what is that signal exactly? Well, it's pretty blunt. High risk. According to this one indicator, on August 19th, 2025, the market is sitting in what it defines as a high-risk environment. So I know what you're probably thinking. Where on earth does a number like that even come from? And what is this indicator really telling us? Let's break it all down. So this is it, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. You know, its whole purpose is to give us one specific viewpoint on the potential stress that might be building up in the system. It's not a crystal ball or anything like that. Think of it more like a specific lens for looking at what's happening in the markets right now. All right, let's pop the hood and see what makes this thing tick. To really understand the MRMI, you have to know its two key ingredients. First up is the DXY, which is just the US dollar index. Think of it like a report card for the dollar, measuring how strong it is against other big world currencies. When you see the DXY rising, it often means investors are nervous and running to the dollar for safety, which in turn can put a lot of pressure on stocks in global markets. And the second ingredient is the US 10Y. That's the interest rate or yield on a 10-year US Treasury bond. This is a huge benchmark for borrowing costs for, well, pretty much everyone. So when this yield goes up, it can mean people are worried about inflation or that money is just getting tighter, making it more expensive for companies to do business and expand. Okay, so we've got our two main ingredients, the strength of the dollar and the yield on treasuries. Now, let's see how the MMRI actually combines them to come up with its risk score. The formula itself is actually pretty simple. You just take the DXY, multiply it by the US 10-year yield, and then divide the whole thing by a constant, which is 1.61. The thinking behind this seems to be that a strong dollar and high borrowing costs happening at the same time create this kind of multiplier effect on market stress. This formula just boils those two forces down into one single number. Let's plug in today's numbers and see how it works in real time. Right now, the DXY is sitting at 98.2629, and the 10-year yield is at 4.345%. So if you run those numbers through the formula, 98.2629, multiplied by 4.345, and then divided by 1.61, you get 265.37. And there it is. We're right back to the number we started with. Pretty cool, right? But you know, a number by itself is pretty meaningless. It needs some context. The MMRI uses this scale to put the number into a category. And as you can see, our value of 265.37 falls smack in the middle of the high-risk category. The real question is, what are we supposed to do with that information? And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important takeaway from this entire explainer. We have to be really clear on what this indicator is, and, maybe even more critically, what it is not. I mean, this quote from the source material says it all, really. The MMRI serves only as a market indicator and isn't a crystal ball for future events. This tool isn't telling you what's going to happen tomorrow, it's just a snapshot, a measurement of potential pressures that exist in the market right now. So that leads us to how you should think about using it. First, always remember it is just one perspective out of many. Second, it's most valuable when you use it alongside other types of analysis, to see if it confirms or contradicts what you're seeing elsewhere. And finally, and this is absolutely key, it should never, ever be the only reason you make a financial decision. It's just one piece of a much larger puzzle, not the whole picture.
So there you have it. We've unpacked the MMRI, from its core ingredients to its final calculation. And it kind of leaves us with a really interesting question to chew on. Now that you understand how this particular signal is built, how does it change the way you think about market risk as a concept? Thanks for tuning in.